Getting cooked, boo. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, the Queen Coven, and it's me, your host, your lovely, beautiful person here on the channel, the Queen Victoria. Okay. Anyway, y'all go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that y'all can get all of my wonderful posts. So, this post today is brought to you. Well, it was inspired by my last post when I was talking about trusting your intuition. And this video is a continuation of that video. But I wanted to start with something important, okay? That I wanted to kind of coming off of that video, right? Reasons you should not ignore your red flag. I wrote a list, okay? Because I was just inspired by this entire situation of trusting my intuition, and I was just so super proud of myself for like being in that moment and just navigating that so well in terms of my intuition, because that's something I've been really working on, and I've experienced a lot of frustration around simply because, oh, I heard that but I didn't listen. However, that's progress, okay? So, progress. I love the beautiful progress that I am making on my journey. So, reasons you should not ignore your red flags, okay? One reason you should not ignore your red flag is that your flags become less and less alarming when you ignore them. I'm going to give you an example. My friend, okay? Her alarm would go off in her bedroom next to her bed where she's sleeping. And whenever I was over there, I would end up getting up out of the bed I'm in, walking into her room and shutting her alarm off and just staring at her deep in this sleep, not even flinching at this alarm. Yet this alarm has awakened me all the way in the other room. Yes, she has become less aware of her flags. Her alarm has become non-alarming to her. Like, she is no longer alarmed by her alarm. And that's likely from ignoring it, telling her mind, it's just my alarm. Go back to sleep. Or, your ego, whoever tells you that, that makes you just sleep through your alarm. And I have slept through alarm before, but not because I ignored it, mostly because I was just so tired and exhausted, and my intuition and my body was like, we need more rest. So we're going to turn off this little sound thing right here in the brain that's sending the signals. Okay. So the next reason why you should not ignore your red flags is that when you ignore your red flags, you're countering yourself. You're going against what you know intuitively. You're going against what is best for you. You're second guessing yourself, and you're just driving yourself deeper into that hole that red flag has dug into your life. Okay. So that's another reason why you should not ignore your red flags. Okay. So another reason why you shouldn't ignore your red flag is that you become less and less aware of the way you are reacting and responding to those red flags, right? Which could be very negative response, which could be a equally toxic response. For example, if the red flag is a red flag of toxicity, like there's something toxic going on, if you choose to not appropriately respond to that emotional development that's happening there in response to your red flag, you're just going to become less aware of that reaction. And that's going to be one less thing that brings your awareness into a message from your intuition, basically. So, ignoring red flags is just dangerous to your boundaries when you think of it in the physical sense and how it affects us in a trauma type of way. But it's also very bad for your intuitive growth in nurturing that part of yourself and being able to better navigate the world and things like that. So, um, another reason, I guess I should have put numbers on these, um, is that's this story that I shared with a friend about boiling a frog. If you put a frog into water that is already hot and boiling, that frog is going to hop out because the frog knows the water is hot. But if you put the frog in, you know, I guess regular temperature water that they would normally be in, and then bring that water to a boil slowly, you are going to cook that frog, okay? You are the frog, honey, that's being cooked when you are ignoring your red flags, okay? You're creating an environment that basically says this is okay, by not appropriately responding to those red flags. Getting cooked, boo. Okay. So, another reason is that you become no longer present in that relationship and you start to develop a fantasy of that relationship as you now move on into the space of justifying red flags. Okay? So I guess that could be a 2-in-1, right? You move on to this stage of bargaining with yourself about these red flags. So justification, bargaining, that's the same category, but it's different from not being present in the relationship and presenting yourself with a fantasy in order to be able to block out these red flags. So, ignorance is bliss, no? So, the final thing I wanted to say about reasons you should not ignore your red flags is that anxiety takes over. Because while you are choosing to ignore your red flags in your mind, your body is steadily responding to those red flags. You, that is a signal that you cannot ignore. Well, you can ignore it, but you cannot turn it off. That is just something that naturally happens without you. It's like blood flowing through your veins. It's like your heartbeat. It's like the way that you breathe naturally. It is like your cells replicating. It and all of those involuntary organs that do their thing without you even having to think about it or consider it or even know it or be aware of it, even though those things can help you on a grander scale of life. It's not necessary for, you know, certain things. So what happens is when you ignore your red flag, your anxiety takes over, and anxiety attacks the body, and your body will continue to be attacked. Like if you're getting like pinched here, I don't know. When you're continuously ignoring your bodily responses to red flags, you're hurting yourself. And eventually, this will show up in the physical. Maybe as something mental, maybe as something physical. Um, but like I said, your body doesn't stop responding just because you're ignoring it. Okay, and we know that with physical ailments, right? Just because, you know, you have a disease and you choose to ignore your disease doesn't make your disease go away. And I mean dis-ease, because red flags cause dis-ease. You are not comfortable with yourself. You are not comfortable in the relationship. You are not comfortable in the space. So don't ignore your red flags.